I'm Scout Finch, and today I'm going to narrate a chapter of my story, the chapter number 9. I received an order gift by Cecil Jacobs, and for the other side, Atticus promised me that he will wear me if he hears that I fall again. And also, after that, that was the beginning of a bad time to Jen and me. And then I had to learn how to hold it, and that would be better for everybody. But I forget it because Cecil Jacobs made me forget. At the next day, in the jar of the school, she announced, your daddy is a nigger lover. And I denied it. And also I told Jen, and he told me, you should ask Atticus. He will tell you everything about that. So I did it. I asked Atticus, do you defend niggers? And he told me, of course that I do. And don't use that word, that's common. And I said, so if you don't want me to grow up using that kind of word, so why do you send me to the school? And he just smiled. And then I asked, do all lawyers defend niggers? And he told me, of course they do. And he said, you are so young to understand things like that, but you should avoid that kind of things because that's not good for you, and you should fight in your mind for a change. He told me that, and after that I asked him, if that is bad, so why do you defend them? And he told me, because if I didn't, I couldn't go for the town with a hole up my face. And he told me, and I'm just defend one. His name is Tom Robinson. And after that, I understand some things about that. And he told me, look, Scott, every single liar gets at least one case of this in his life that affects them personally. So then I was thinking about it, and then I asked him, we are going to win it? And he told me, I don't think so, but we should try. And after that, we were talking about that topic, and I said, now you look like Uncle Ike. And we, Jem, Atticus and I used to call him at least once in a year. And Jem and I just were hearing what they said about the war. And after that, Scott Atticus told me, look, Scott, this time is different. We are not fighting the Yankees. We are fighting for our friends. And well, the next day I faced Cecil Jacobs, and I remember that he said, hey, your daddy is a nigga lover. And I was so angry, but I remember what Atticus told me. So I'm just walk away, and believe me that was the first time that I walk away from a fight. Then Christmas came, but it was a disaster for us, because Gemma and I view Christmas with a different feeling. And also, the only good side was the Christmas tree and Uncle Jack. And Jen and I used to visit Macomb Junction. And then I was remembered that we should invite Uncle Jimmy. And he was Aunt Alexandra's husband. But then I remember that they just spoke once in our life, and they had a son, and he was called Henry, but he lived their home as soon as possible. And after that, Henry had a son called Francis. Alexandra was the sister of Atticus, but then Jem told me about some challenges that they had. After that, Jim and I thought that it was funny that Uncle Jack picked Atticus on the cheeks, and that was kind of funny. And maybe I remember that he Alexandra look unlike. Maybe because he made a better use of his face, and also he was one of the few men of science that who never scared me. Maybe because he explained exactly what he was going to do, and also he was a good man. And then we were in the house, and Jem asked, "How is Rose Almer, Uncle?" And Rose Almer was the cat of him. And then after that, he showed us some picture of her. We were in the avenue, and I asked him, "Could you pass me the ham?" And he did. And after that, he told me, "See me afterwards, young lady." And I did. And after that, he told me, "You look more like Atticus than your mother." And also, I realized that you are growing up too fast. And he told me that he heard that I'm using words like hell or damn. And he said, "I don't use words like that, so you shouldn't use that words anymore." And the next day I dreamed with two packages, one for me and one for Jem. And they were exactly what we asked for, and they were sent from Atticus. And also, we were so happy. And then Uncle told Atticus, "You should teach them how to shoot," but Atticus didn't want. And after that, we were walking, and there were three dark trees, and at the end of the road we saw a house, and that house was built for our ancestor called Simon, and he built it for his wife, but the house was not good because the interior it was kind of disordered. For example, the cook was so separated from the rest of the house and things like that. Just imagine. And the next day, I asked Francis, "What do you get for Christmas?" And he told me, I got exactly what I asked for." And I said, "That's nice, but I lied." And also I said, "Jem and I got exactly what I asked for. I got the air rifles, and Jem got the chemistry set." And also, after that, I realized that talking to Francis was like sailing to the bottom of the ocean, because he was so bored, and he told everything that he knew to our Aunt Alexandra, and then she told everything, not everything, but sometimes to my father, and that was so bad. And then at Christmas dinner, I sat in a dinner so separated from the rest of the adults, and Jem and Francis sat with the adults in the living room, and I was sad because I wanted to stay there, of course. But I told many times that, what about if I ask Aunt Alexandra, could I sit with the adults to show her how civilized I could be? But then I didn't, because Atticus told me that he didn't understand too much the girls. And then I went to the backyard, and Francis sat beside me, and he told me, "Oh, how wonderful cook is Grandma, and she's going to teach me how to cook." And I said, "Really?" "Yes." But boys don't cook." And I said, "I don't want that Bill prepare the food for me. I will do that for him." And he said, "Deal?" "Yes," I said. "We are going to get married, but don't say nothing about that yet, because he asked me the last summer." And then he told me, "I know everything about him." And he told me that Grandma said that he hasn't got a home. And I said, "Yes, I think that he has a home, because he lives in Meridian, and I think that is good." And also, so he told me, you are kind of dumb sometimes, but it is not your fault that your father is defending a nigger. And I said, really? What the hell do you say? Yes. And he told me that grandma said that he was ruining our family and that he is not going to be able to walk for the street again. And after that, I was so mad, and he went back to the kitchen. And then I heard that Alexandra asked, "Where is Francis?" In the kitchen. But Aunt Alexandra said, "What? It is supposed that he shouldn't play in there." And Francis said, "Yes, I know, but he won't let me out." And I was so mad because that was not true. And after that, he came back and he told me, "Don't fool with me." And I said, "Oh, that's nice." And after that, he was so careful and he said, "Nigger lover." And this time I was so mad that I broke my hand over his teeth. And Uncle Jack took me and said, "Stop." And after that, he said, "Who started this?" And I didn't want to say anything about that. I was bored. And then Grandma says, "She called me a word lady and she tried to attack me." And I was so mad because that was not true. And after that, Uncle Jack told me, "What? Why do you say that words? I told you that you shouldn't say that kind of words anymore. Now you are in trouble," he said. And after that, I was so mad that I said, "I will never speak to you again in your life. And I hope that you die tomorrow," I said, because I was so bored and angry. And then after that, I went with Atticus, and I really felt very good with him. And he told me, "Oh, lady, we will have to return to home." And I said, "That's okay." So we went home. And then we were there, and I heard that someone was calling at the door. And I asked, "Who is it?" And said, "Oh, it's Uncle Jack." And I was like, "Oh." And I said, "Oh, go away from here." But he told me, "Oh, are you still mad with me?" And I said, "Yes, because you didn't give me the opportunity to explain you what would happen. Will you give me the opportunity this time?" I asked. "Yes, continue," he said. So I said that Francis called Atticus a nigger lover, and he couldn't believe that. And he told me, "Really?" And I said, "Yes." And then Uncle told me, "Alexandra must know about that." And I said, "No, please, you shouldn't say nothing about that, especially to Atticus, because I promised him that I wouldn't fight for things like that anymore." And then we were talking about that topic, and he told me, "Oh, but that's really bad. Don't forget it," I said. And I asked him, "Could you bandage my hand?" And he told me, "Yes, I will help you." So he was happy to help me. And after that, I hear Uncle Jack and Atticus that they were talking in the living room, and Uncle said, "I'm really bad with children." And Atticus said, "Yes, you have a lot of things to learn." And after that, Uncle Jack said, "Oh yes, but your daughter teach me a great lesson today." And really, he said, "Yes, he showed me how I should have treated her. But so I'm sorry." And Atticus said, "Oh, don't worry." And after that, Atticus said, "I don't know how bad this is going to be," but this time they were talking about the case. And Uncle asked, "Really, do you think that?" And Atticus said, "Yes, because I only have the word of a black man against the owls. Do you remember the owls?" "Yes," Uncle said. And after that, I was just waiting and hoping that Uncle respect the promise that he told me, but he did it. And after that, they just were talking about that case. And then Atticus said, I'm just hope that Jem and Scott ask to me the questions that they want, and that they don't hear the only things that people around the town are saying about me. Because if they hear that kind of thing, they are going to feel bad, and I don't want that. And after that, I realized that Uncle Jad was a prince, because he gave me his promise, and he did it as good as he can. So that was all for my chapter. I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you.